Yes. The second basic reason was the social structure of France in 18th century. 18th century and before the 18th century, the society of states, the whole France during the old regime, the French society was divided into three states. Three states. This was the you can understand this was a social hierarchy. Social hierarchy means it was the ranking of the people according to their position in government and society. They were divided into three states. At the top here you can see this was the first state and it was comprised up of the clergies. The second state was comprised up of the nobilities. Nobilities were the royal most of them were belonging to the royal members of the royal members from the royal family. Clergies were belonging to the church and bishops, popes and other church officials. Here you can see at the lower rank this was the third state, and this third state was comprised of the big businessmen, court officials, lawyers, administrative officials, etc., small farmers, artisans, craft persons, very small farmers, laborers, servants, slaves, all they were kept in this category. So, this was the social hierarchy existing in French society. The whole society was dividing into three states. So, let us see over here. First state, clergy or the church officials were at the top and were exempted from paying any tax. Yes, these church officials were free from paying any taxes. They did not have to pay any tax to the government. They were enjoying privileges by their birth just because they were born in the church families or the pope families. Due to this they were enjoying the special powers in the society, and the church was collecting taxes from the peasants. That was the tithe. Even they had the right to collect tax. That tax they were collecting from the peasants. This was known as tithe, and tithe was was the tax collected on the agricultural produce. The second state you can see was composed up of nobility. Most of them were belonging to the royal family. They did not have to pay any taxes. Unlike clergies, they did not they didn't also have to pay any taxes, and they were also enjoying privileges by birth just because of the birth in noble families. They were extracting feudal dues from the peasants. Feudal dues, you can say the landowners, they were acting like the landowners. They were holding big lands, and the people, those who were cultivating on their lands, from them they were extracting a tax that was known as the feudal dues. Peasants were obliged to render services to the lord, to work in his house and fields, to serve in the army, to building roads. Yes, peasants who were working on their lands, they were bound to render all these services to the nobles. So, this was the second state. Now, what type of status was of the third state? Third state was comprised up of big businessmen, court officials, peasants, artisans, lawyers, etc. Peasants made up of 90% of the population. But most of them did not have land to cultivate. Yes, in the French society, in the whole population of the France, peasants population was 90%, but they did not, most of them did not have a piece of land to cultivate. They were cultivating the land of the landowners or the nobles or the clergies. Here you can see this is the ordinary person, and he is one of the noble person. He is rendering the services. So, all such type of pictures or images give an idea of the French society at that time, how the society was there. All the members of the third state had to pay taxes to the state. Yes, all the members of the third estate, either they were the business persons or the lawyers or the administrative officials or the landless laborers, all they have to pay the tax to the state. State means government. These included direct tax, tax called tail. Tail actually was the land tax, a land tax to be paid directly to the state, and number of indirect taxes which were levied on commodities like salt and tobacco, etc. Except this tail, there were the number of indirect taxes which were also paid by the ordinary people or the people of the third estate. These were the commodities like salt. Salt is one of the essential thing of for survival. So on that also there was the tax. So here you can see all the burden of the tax was given to the member of the third estate. So this was unequal distribution of the powers in the society. Here also you can see, this is the pie chart. With this you can understand, this black one you can see, this is indicating the first estate. First estate means clergies. The white one is indicating the second estate. Second estate means nobility. The grey one you can see that it is indicating the third estate. Third estate means all the ordinary people of the society. In this you can see the first pie chart is indicating the population. This was the distribution of population. First estate means clergies were 0.5 in total, 5% in total population of the country. Second estate means nobility. They were only 1.5% in the total population of the country, and rest of the population, that is 99%, comprised up of third estate. Here you can see the second pie chart, you can see that